So now we're going to go to State Representatives District 66, Kimberly Alexander and Bruce Emery. If you please come up. So you have 2 minutes, please. Why are you running for this office and what makes you qualified for this office? Kimberly, we will start with you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the Junior League for having this event. It's always a packed crowd, and it's good to see all of you here. As stated, my name is Kimberly Alexander. I'm running for re-election to State House District 66, which covers Douglas County, and it also covers Paulding County. When I graduated, got my master's degree, I came back to the community and I started working as a community advocate. So I have leadership skills in different organizations that I've been a part of. I'm also an auditor, and I was the auditor for a Fortune 500 company for 8 years. And I still serve as an auditor. I'm an audit contractor. So you think about an auditor, if you had a visit from an auditor, what those skills are: accountability, transparency, finance skills, accounting skills. I bring all those skills to the table as a legislator. As a matter of fact, before I even write legislation, I research and I treat it as an audit before I even write my legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. As most of you know, my name is Bruce Emery, and a lot of people want to know, who is Bruce Emery? Well, you can go to my website at bruceemery.com, and there's more information and detail there. But to summarize, for the most part, I was born and raised in southeast Missouri on a farm. Anybody ever been raised on a farm, you know, it's not for everybody. So by the time that I graduated, I knew that being the farm life wasn't for me. So I moved away and started a career in corporate America. Moved up in corporate America until I ended up meeting my wife. And at that point in time, I decided that it was time for me to move on and do something else. So I launched my own business at that point in time in 1992. My wife Angie, we've been married for 30 years. We have 4 children, all that 3 of them are married, 6 grandkids, 1 on the way, and my youngest is in Georgetown at this point in time. But during my business experience, not only one business, but multiple businesses that I've been able to start from the ground up. I've hired a lot of people. I've had to meet payroll. I know what it's like to run a budget. I also understand what it is to be out in the community. You know, the thing about being in Douglas and Paulding County when we moved here in 1990 is that I had the support of the community, and that's why my business done so well. It wasn't about me or my products. It was about the people appreciated good service, and I understand that. It's very important, especially in today's society, when in business, when there's not a lot of service that's available to you out there. And so anyway, with that being said, I appreciate it.
Thank you. First question will go to Kimberly Alexander. What issues would you focus on in General Assembly if you were re-elected?
I will focus on jobs and the economy. Even though Douglas County seems to have a good growth spurt when it comes to jobs here in the county, I would still concentrate on jobs and economy for Douglas County. I believe in, I support a fully funded education system. I think that we should decrease the classrooms and pay our teachers, so I support fully funded education. I support legislation as it relates to mental illness. I now sit on a chair, and I serve as a vice chair of a mental illness study committee that we're doing right now. That legislation came from Douglas County. So the first individuals that I had on the committee to come and talk to us was a commissioner here in Douglas County. They were the first one to report. I also had the judge. And from that conversation and that meeting, we've already gathered some great legislation that will be coming from the mental illness. So I definitely support the mental illness and will be supporting any legislation that comes out of that mental illness committee.
Thank you. What issues would you focus on in the General Assembly if you were elected?
Well, being new to the state legislature, there are a lot of things that are going on in our community. One of the things that come to mind is the lack of health care. You know, Kennesaw State did a study about 5 years ago about the coverage of health care of adults. At that point in time, they had researched that 24% of adults did not have health care. Since then, we've had the introduction of the Affordable Care Act, and at this point in time, we just recently had a new study done by Wellstar, as well as Kaiser Permanente, that over 34% of the adults now, even with the Affordable Care Act, do not have health care. You know, I've been very fortunate to be able to be part of the local community care place. It's a free medical clinic. And we're serving the local people that don't have the availability to get health care with a way to be able to get that. Also with that, there's a lot of need in the community as well. So we don't know what tomorrow has for us, but we need the support of people. So I want to work with all of the candidates that I can, my state legislation body, to do what I can to help Douglas County, Paulding County, which is my county, try to end up getting some of the medical coverage for these people in need.
Thank you. Second question. We'll go to Mr. Emery first. Georgia consistently has a waiting list for the lottery-funded Georgia Pre-K program. What can the state do to ensure families who want their children to participate in the Georgia Pre-K are able to do so?
I believe these were questions, I guess, that were sent out. For some reason, I never received any of these questions. So the only thing I can tell you about me is that I don't have an answer to that question. I'm not one to try to navigate that. The only thing I can tell you is that I have to do some research, and I would have to go out and I would ask, because one of the important things to me is listening, getting out in the community and listening to the people of Douglas and Paulding County. So many people I know don't have that ability to reach out and have that open communication, but I'm going to be there to be able to provide that that communication, because communication is so important to us. So with that being said, I'll pass it on to Kimberly.
As a matter of fact, I had someone in the community reach out to me and tell me that their school had a lot of children that were on the waiting list and that they wanted to try to figure out how they could get more funded and to get more space. That is very important. I know we have a lot of schools here that do receive pre-K, but we definitely need to look into the funding and the formula for these schools and how they get the money that they get for pre-K. And we definitely need to have more pre-K, and I will support that.
Thank you. Closing remarks? Mr. Emery, if you'd like to start.
A year ago, if you would ask me if I ever thought I'd be in the political arena, I would have told you no. I had no desire. But as I continue to walk, and the Lord just dealt with me, He just kind of kept calling me, and I kept running. I said, let somebody else do it. It's not for me. I've got enough things on my plate that I can take care of. I don't have time for it. But he told me, what if everybody I called said the same thing? You know, as he started reminding me of all the reasons why that he's calling me, I got thinking about it. You know, when I was in high school, I was selected one of two that attended Missouri Boys State, where we go and learn about our state legislature. I forgot totally about doing that. Then later on, he put me in Paulding and Douglas County, where he, for the last 24 years, has allowed me to build my family, to get to know the people of Paulding and Douglas. He's blessed me with a business that I've been able to operate. He's been able to allow me to be part of one of the largest churches, the Church of Chapel Hill, as I sat on the board collectively for the last 11, 12 years as we've grown. Not only that, being on the executive board for the Food Pantry, which is a Douglas County that really needs your help and your support. We feed a lot of people. We have fed over 10,000 people a year, 10,000 families. That's around 21,500 people that we fed, all through donations. We also have a free medical clinic that I sit on the board too, constantly trying to figure out ways that we continue to meet the budget demands that we need to be able to provide to people of Douglas County. I think a lot has to say is, where your heart is, so is your money. I give my time and my resources to my community. I care for my community. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here today for you, because as they say, it's a little intimidating standing up here speaking with you all, but from the heart, I'd love to have the opportunity to serve you in the state legislature and work with the colleagues there to basically allow your voice to be heard, not mine, because I operate as a servant leader. And so I thank you very much and I appreciate the opportunity.
It's an honor to serve you, and I say it all the time that whether you voted for me or not, I'm still your state representative, so I appreciate all your support. Wanted to tell you again, because I love to brag about, it's great being down at the Capitol and representing the people here in the district. I want to tell you about some other legislation that I sponsored. When I first got to the Capitol and the General Assembly, and we had the first ice storm, me as an auditor, I went back and researched and came up with some legislation for children in the daycare centers. Everyone was concentrating on K through 12. No one was concentrating on the daycare centers. I researched and wrote legislation around daycare centers, and what it is to improve disaster plans, to enhance the disaster plans at the daycare centers. That legislation did not pass the first year, but I came back the second year. This year, at the end of the year, that will be a part of the regulatory policies right now with the Department of DeKalb. So we will now have a disaster plans in place to enhance at the daycare centers. And that's all because I pushed the legislation and came back and pushed it again, and now part of the regulatory policies of the state of Georgia. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. From our sheriff candidates, Michael Barnhill and Tim Pounds.
All right. Yes, sir.
Please, Mr. Barnhill, if you'll tell us why you're running for this office and what makes you qualified for this office.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking the Junior League for this event. Of course, all of you for being here tonight. My name is Michael Barnhill, and I'm running for sheriff of Douglas County. This journey started for me in 2012. Our current sheriff, Phil Miller, came to me when he was running for re-election, and he said, "I know that you've heard A, B, C, and D are going to run for sheriff." He said, "But I've seen your hard work, your commitment and your dedication to this county. I've seen your leadership, your management, the way you've handled yourself at this department, and I think you'd make a good one." Through prayer, speaking with my family, my friends, I'm proud to tell you now that I've got the endorsement and support of Sheriff Phil Miller, also our retired sheriff, Tommy Walker. On August 24th, I filed my declaration of intent, and on March 7th, I left the Douglas County Sheriff's Office when I qualified as a candidate. When I left after 25 and a half years, I got absolutely nothing. No retirement, no benefits. I've totally put my faith in God, and if it's His will on November 8th, I'll be your next sheriff. But I also know He's equipped me with all the tools that I need to go out and work hard every day, and I think since day one I've shown that I will go out and work hard for every citizen in Douglas County. Now, I have 25 and a half years of service with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. I have over 6,000 hours of post-certified training, supervision, management, public safety leadership. But let me tell you where I gained the most experience and the most education. By serving the citizens of Douglas County every day in a capacity working in the patrol division. I was there with all of you when things were happening. I just want to tell you all again, thank you for being here. And I got the stop sign too. I wasn't the only one. Thank you.
Mr. Pounds.
Good afternoon. I also want to thank everyone for inviting us here and agree with such a large crowd. Well, my career as sheriff started when I was 21 years old. I started in law enforcement. Worked my way through the ranks, 40 years experience, started off as a little dirt road diff, to be honest with you, night shift. Sheriff Department had only 36 employees then, had 3-2 shift. I was one on that shift. Started back in 1976. Worked my way through there and became a division commander. But during those 40 years experience, I worked my way through there. I was a part of every division that the sheriff's office had. I worked investigation, patrol, CID, and the jail, because those areas are critical in being sheriff. You need to know what them areas run, how they run. So I worked my way through all of those divisions to try to get to the top. And once I got there, mine is all about community. That's what made me what I was, because I stayed in the community, talking to my people, trying to find what their problem was in their community. And like Mike said, I got a lot of experience. I got same institution he went to, I went to. I got a lot of training hours too. But my thing was hand in hand. I like to work directly with the people. That way, I know what their problems are. And if I'm elected sheriff November 8th, that's what I want to continue to do, because community is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't get back out there, you ain't gonna make it right. My intention is to get back in that community. 3 things from the time when I developed an outreach program for our youth, create a mentor program, get them to talk about the drugs, stay away in my time.
To Mr. Barnhill. Douglas County is a very diverse county. As sheriff, how will you foster an environment that ensures fair treatment of all people that are served by Douglas County Sheriff's Department?
You know, since day one, my logo or slogan has been community first. Community first is not just a slogan for me. It is a commitment to all citizens in Douglas County, regardless of race, religion, gender, political affiliation. During my 25 and a half years, I've gotten along with everybody. Part of my job with the K-9 unit was to go out, well, I don't even say it's part of my job, it's something that I did. I visited Douglas County schools, churches, civic organizations, averaging about 15,000 children a year in Douglas County. Most of the time given my own hours of my own time to do that. Now, one of the things that I would like to see that you're talking about, we've got an Explorer program right now that's set up for our youth. We've got about 20 kids involved in that Explorer program. There's only 2 children in that, or young adults that are in that program that are African American. I'd like to see our department reach out to some of these other schools, Lithia Springs, New Manchester, Douglas County High School, to see if we could get some of this, the youth involved in the Explorer program, so that we can continue to work toward the more diversity. Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll hear from Mr. Pounds.
Start at the top, the sheriff. You got to do the background. You got to do a better background check on the people. That way your sheriff's office should be a mirror of your community. Well, all you got working in your community, that's who should be employed at the sheriff's office. You got to mirror that community. That way, everybody is going to be treated the same. And that's, my instinct is that. That's why I was raised. That's why I was brought up. To treat everybody right, treat everybody with respect. As I was saying about the youth earlier before I got cut off, if you start get these youth back in order, get out there, reach out there to them, find out what's going on with their mind, teach them to respect one another, and even if teachers, their parents, respect all of them. Do that. If you get your youth, so that's going to be replacing us sooner or later. If you get your children back in order, we all going to make it to the top. But if you're going to make everybody treat right, you got to teach first of all, your patrolman, Mike, and the ones running that street, they got to be a mirror of you also. They got to be the one to say, Pound ain't gonna put up with that, because I'm not.
That's right.
And they gonna deal with it that way. Everybody gonna be treated fair and impartial once I'm elected to sheriff. Because it don't make no sense to me, Mike, either, for us, all the price they're having around the world, it ain't made it just yet, but eventually it will, and we got to be prepared when it get here. But if you get a department and teach those deputies, we ain't gonna tolerate no foolishness.
Second question, we'll start with Mr. Barnhill first. You have both worked at Douglas County Sheriff's Office at the same time. Please tell the audience what you think is your opponent's biggest strength.
Well, remember I told you earlier I left the sheriff's and got nothing. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you. I'll tell you something, Tim, the 25 and a half years that I was there, Tim, of course, worked in the Warren Civil Division. There's a lot of places that we couldn't go, and Tim was able to do that. And Tim did a great job of working on that for us. Thank you, Tim.
Mr. Pound?
You know, in today's world and society, you can't get too far without our dogs. The dogs is best thing could happen to the police department is dogs. And Mike have always been, and still is, for one of the best K9 handlers out there. He took care of the dogs, and like I said earlier, we need the dogs, so he handled the dogs anyway.
Thank you both for your honesty. We'll start with closing remarks with Mr. Barnhill.
Everybody loves a dog, right? Yeah, come on. All right, once again, I want to thank you all for being here. You know, like I told you, I left the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. I put this in God's hands, and every day I've gone out and I've worked hard. Very hard. The same kind of work that I'm going to give you as your sheriff, I'm going to work hard every day. Community has been a big word in this election for every race. I believe that law enforcement is needed in our communities, and we need communities in our law enforcement. One of the things I've talked about also from the beginning of this campaign is creating a citizens advisory group. I attended a meeting the other day with Mr. Sutton, and it's like I told the folks there. There's 3 forms of communication these days: telephone, television, and telefacebook. We don't want to have to deal with that if we can help it. This citizen advisory group, I think, will be important. It'll help us figure out or hear about problems before they occur. Like I told you, community first is more than a slogan. It's my commitment to all citizens of Douglas County. Early voting starts October 17th. Of course, November 8th. I'd love to have your support. Not only do I want to have it, I want to work hard every day to earn it. Thank you.
As I was telling you earlier, I had 40 years experience at the Sheriff's Office. 25 of those years was in management. I managed the Civil Division, the Records, Digital, Transports, and Warrants. I managed those 5 divisions during my career at the Sheriff's Office. And the 3 things that I like to bring to the county that we don't do right today is, I ain't gonna cheat off what you said, Mike, but the first thing is, like I started to say about this mentor program, create a program to assist our parents with our youth. That's critical. Other thing is community policing. We want to get out these police cars and stay off them telephones, get out there and walk in that neighborhood like we used to do when I was on patrol.
All right.
Find out what's going on in that neighborhood. Build a partnership again with the people, because somehow we lost trust in our community. All my guys back out there and build that back. Let them know sheriff coming out there just to put you in jail. We're out there to assist you the best way we can. And the third thing is community partnership. Partner with the churches, the judges, the justice system. Get everybody on board. with my program, because like I said earlier, and I'm gonna keep saying, it's all about the community. If you get the community back in that sheriff's office, my gang will still listen, but that's one of my ideas also, is to develop a community advisory board. They ain't gonna have no arrest power, but I want them to stay, have a board so they can bring to me what their problem is in the community. You know, some part of the community is rougher than other parts. I want to know what's going on in our community, because you're going to be the eyes and we can't see. You can tell us what's going on so we can get out. It's all about fixing Douglas County. Who can lead?
That's right.
Douglas County in the best way.